Welcome everyone to a new video. Today we'll be going over the new world, pound farming and grinding in the game. We'll be going over all the different types of farming, from harvesting wood, fishing, hunting, mining, and also looting, on ways to make money in the game. So I wanted to shout this out at the beginning of the video. Thank you guys very much for all the support recently. We've gotten several hundred views in the past few videos. I'll be posting every single night around 10 p.m. EST if you guys ever want to check that out. And as well, feel free to like and subscribe down below, or leave a comment and just say nice hair or anything. Thanks guys, and I appreciate it. Starting with the basics, harvesting wood. Harvesting wood is where the player gets wood from trees and sells it in the general store nearby. The raw wood sells for 8 pounds each, but crossbows, which are 5 wood, will sell for 75 pounds, meaning only 5 wood and the most efficient way to make money from this method. So basically, instead of selling this wood for 40 pounds, you are making 35 more by doing a crafting method of making these crossbows in your inventory, which you'll see me do very shortly. There's also an item that is costing Robux, that is the RoboStacks. If you're interested in getting that, instead of chopping a tree with 13 hits, you can do it in 8, reducing the time by nearly around 45% of how long it takes for you to chop each tree. And it does not affect the ratios at all. Another large part of harvesting wood is actually having a good knapsack. Now there are multiple Robux, once again, items that have a very large capacity. However, getting a large knapsack from the illegal dealer is about the right method to go. This costs 1,000 pounds, and the illegal dealer is found somewhere random on the map. Of course, these items, of course, are not illegal in the game. However, you are more than welcome to get that, and it's actually the highest storage for a non-Robux item, holding 130 inventory space of items, of which meaning you're going to be able to hold about 20 to 25 logs in that inventory without filling it up. As the tree log is one of the heaviest items in the game, crafting crossbows often prevents you from losing too much inventory space, so as you go on while harvesting wood, you're able to do this more often, and you can hold a lot of money in your inventory for selling, of course, from those crossbows' value. The second method of making money in the game is fishing. Fishing poles are 10 pounds in the general store, very cheap. There's also something called a Swift fishing pole, which is a Robux item as well. However, the fishing pole usually will get you a fish within a couple of seconds, and it'll randomly rod up a fish, of which can be worth a lot of money. Similar to the hunting strategy of making money, which will be up next in the video, fishing does make you a lot of money by naturally getting an animal and having the meat to be able to sell. Raw meat typically sells for more than cooked meat because the cooked meat is edible by the player and actually has a usage to it. It is unrecommended that you cook the meat to go sell it or prior to selling it at any point because it is worth more in the raw form naturally to the store. And from here we move on to the hunting. Hunting strategy is one of the most used strategies in the game to make money that is a non-combative against player versus player and its player versus entity, where you are hunting most of the animals in the game. Notably, there are a few types of animals. Some of the most important ones are the beaver, the elk, the deer, and the rabbit. Of these primary animals, their pelts and meat sell for a decent amount of money in the general store of the game and also other places where you're able to sell them. This means that hunting is actually one of the greatest income sources because the average meat sells anywhere from 20 to 25, and many of the pelts sell from anywhere from 25 to 50. So oftentimes hunting for 20 to 30 minutes can bring you back anywhere from 1,000 to 3,000 pounds in that amount of time, depending on how much you actually get. As well, from the other strategies, leaving the bay after harvesting wood or often fishing provides for a lot more money because generally you're just moving across the map and making more as you go along. There's a difference between native and colonist hunting as well. Native hunting is typically because you can craft most native items that are either clothing or of use like bandages and can be converted from those original furs, so often native hunting is towards that and colonist hunting is obviously for the money, and there is a lot that you can make out of that for profit and then sell those and get money from that. So moving forward into the mining strategy, the player only needs a pickaxe, which is sold in the general store for 60 pounds, as well as the BCF and French prices. It may seem a little bit on the higher side compared to what the axe or the fishing pole is for 10 and also 10, or the hunting knife, which is only 25, but recommended to use this you guys are able to make a lot of money by going into the frontier and looking for gold or iron. When these are found, iron typically sells, like I said in my other videos, for a decent amount of money, and gold selling for a massive amount of money, which is 75 per ore alone. So basically, creating this kind of things is worth a lot of money, and generally the gold mine, when you get there, there's a couple of ores there and you're going to be able to do it. I don't cover that in this video, but I will be covering that in a future video. From here, we move on to looting. Looting is by far the riskiest, but definitely the most profitable way of getting pounds. You need supplies and a decent amount of weapons to be able to kill, and for recommendation, it's going to be extremely difficult to get kills because these are other players. In the PvP scenario, obviously future videos will be on this, you are recommended to use something alongside the lines of a blunderbuss if you're going for a short range kill, or of course the rifles, as they are snipers, to mostly two-hit or basically try to one-hit someone if they don't have a bandage in their hand, to essentially try to kill them off prior to them being able to retaliate against you. Generally, PvP is definitely risky because in almost every scenario that you're doing a 1v1 on, it's normally a 50-50 if that person has a weapon for you to win that fight. So if you are able to kill that person, you pretty much often double the amount of loot that you have on you if you are decently supplied. However, that person is also going to resent you from that point forward, and your relationship going forward with either the faction or the player is not going to be great, so it's not highly recommended that you use the looting strategy. There's a difference between island conquest and regular killing outside of the area that you're in and just looting someone. There's a difference also between wet looting and dry looting, and I'll be going over that in a minute. Island conquest and actual battles, including trench warfare battles and hill battles, where it is two opposing factions or sides, meaning parties of players. Looting is acceptable because that is a larger group of people, and typically the PvP is inevitable at that point. Island conquests, on the other hand, are between directly two factions and can only be between two factions, as you can only join an island if you are currently in a faction. From this, there are two types of looting. Dry looting, which is taking everything from the inventory as quickly as possible, not just the valuables, and what is considered wet looting, which means that you are looting only the valuables and leaving the player remaining what they have. Usually this is done with natives because a lot of what natives have isn't really worth it to just loot, and it's only worth a couple pounds, and it will kind of help them get out of where they are, as that is a very poor team and is also considered hardcore by the game. So from this, obviously, there isn't a penalty to it. You can take all the loot from the player. However, it is a very risky strategy to use the looting strategy to make money. And of course, the most complex as well, as it can be used both in battles and in casual combat. So all in all, the different types of making money, basically pound farming, is harvesting wood, fishing, hunting, mining, and looting strategies in the game. From these, ranking them 1 to 5, I would rank them 1, looting, 2, hunting, 3, harvesting wood, 4, mining, and 5, fishing, for the reasons of how much they actually do produce and the amount of money. However, I don't actually recommend that you do the looting strategy unless you're in the middle of a warfare strategy or doing something else that involves close quarters combat where you do have to dry or wet loot another person to actually make a little bit of profit off of the battle or to win it. That is my only recommendation, that you would use that strategy. Between harvesting wood and actually hunting, I recommend those strategies if you are casually just wanting to play the game and learning it, or just beginning into the community, as the game will full release on the 13th, which is going to be this Saturday if you guys haven't already seen that. So that's going to be very, very interesting. You guys are more than welcome to be around for that, just to mention it, and it's going to be very incredible of a release. So, like I said before, there are likely going to be a few hundred players playing the game at that point, and if you guys are interested, I would recommend seriously joining a faction, and the highest recommendation from me is between either the British forces or the French. However, joining a player-held faction is normally a great thing to do, or joining one of the newspaper companies, which will be up on the main Discord. You'll be able to check a bunch of that out, and there will be a lot of announcements on some of that kind of stuff. To wrap up, there are a ton of ways to make money, and I thank you guys for watching a ton. Feel free to go subscribe to me on YouTube right down below the video. Feel free to leave a like as well, or leave a comment. Like I said at the beginning of the video, just say nice hair in the comments and I'll literally pin one of you guys. So thank you guys for that. I appreciate all the support. Feel free to go follow the Twitch at YakkerOfficial, the Twitter, Yakker_official, or join my Discord or the game Discord, linked in the description below. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.